Hello, I'm Danny Horn. Thank you for watching Theatre News. Subscribe here.
Danny Horn, it's great to see you. How are you doing today?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good
Just
stuff.
done a show, so always a little bit weary after a show. But yeah, very well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was here last night. Congratulations.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
great.
Absolutely great performance. Had a fantastic time.
Oh, good.
How does it feel for you?
It's a surreal sort of existence I've got at the moment. It's just in the most wonderful way. I never thought I'd be in a musical. You know, I just never saw myself as a singer, really. I mean, played the guitar for years, but something like this I thought was way beyond my capabilities. So ever since October when we started, it's been sort of this surreal, dreamlike gig that I never thought I'd be doing.
Really? Well, certainly
Yeah.
it didn't sound like that.
Oh, thank you.
I have to admit. And everyone else thinks the same. You know, best new show at the Olivier Awards too. Have you been happy with the reception it's received?
Yeah, I mean, people love it. It's joyous. I mean, and it's the show's written very well. It's designed to make you feel euphoric at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it puts you through the ringer as both cast members and an audience. You know, and it's a lot of emotion, especially towards the end, and then the payoff with Waterloo Sunset and Lola. I mean,
Yeah.
It's hard to not enjoy that, even when you're doing it for the 100th time, or if you're watching it for the first time and you know nothing about the Kinks, you can't help but be swept away by it all, really.
Exactly. It's a great story and a great momentum behind the whole production. To be honest, you know, you really sort of thought about it, the writing, and you give a convincing performance as the Ray Davies, obviously the Kinks frontman. Have you met him yourself?
Yeah, no, I spent quite a lot of time with Ray. He was involved in rehearsals, sort of keeping a watchful eye over everything, making sure that his legacy is in safe hands, I suppose. And then he comes to watch it every few weeks, and he doesn't say much, you know. I don't think he thinks it's his place to kind of tell us how to be the people from his life. He sort of subtly steers you in the right direction, but he's always very supportive and very helpful and always willing to talk about things, and if there's anything you're not sure about, or if you want a little bit more insight into his life or the period, he's always more than happy to sit down and have a chat with you.
Yeah. I mean, when you were cast, did you already have a strong idea how you'd play this role?
Well, you get an audition, you read the script, and it's funny when you play a real person. I've never played a real person before, because usually you get the character and you look for clues in the script, and obviously I did all that anyway, but then you can go on YouTube and watch you know, hundreds and hundreds of videos of the guy from the 60s, and so that can inform you. I never wanted it to be an impression of him. I didn't want to do a sort of a impersonation of Ray Davies. I wanted to research everything I could. You read every book I could find about him or by him, watch as much archive footage as possible, and then kind of forget about all that, and hopefully that would just sit within me a little bit and Ray would come through. But yeah, I also, it was nerve-wracking to follow in John Dalglish's footsteps. He played Ray before me and won Best Actor in a Musical at the Olivier Awards, and rightfully so. But I'm nothing like John, aesthetically or vocally or anything, so I didn't feel pressured to kind of ape his version of Ray Davies. I felt like I could do a completely new thing with it, which was refreshing. As an actor, it was really liberating, and the directors were very open to that too. Yeah,
I mean, Ed Hall, the director, what was the rehearsal process like with him?
Well, the rehearsal, my memory of rehearsals was it just being incredibly intense, because I don't really leave the stage, and so I'll be running from one room where we're doing a vocal call to another room where we're doing this scene, and then I've got to do a costume fitting over there. It was full on, and we had 3 weeks of just music rehearsals with Elliot Ware, who's our astonishing musical director. Just where we learnt to be the Kinks, essentially, and then we had 4 weeks of staging the whole production with the rest of the cast. And it was, and Ed is a great director. He's playful, and he wants you to try new things. And when you're a second cast, you worry that maybe they're just going to say, "All right, stand there and say it like this," like the previous lot did. But it wasn't like that at all. It almost felt like we were the first cast, discovering this thing together.
Yeah. And I mean, how much of the story did you know before any of this happened?
Well, I'm a big Kinks fan. I have been all my life, but it's not a story that people know about. Like, for example, the Beatles, people know that story, and the stories of the Stones are much more well documented and well known. I knew that Ray and Dave had a tumultuous relationship. I knew that. I knew that Pete Quaife left the band around Waterloo Sunset time. But other than that, I knew that they had a nightmare in America as well. because they were in the shadow of the Stones and the Beatles, and I think America were getting sick of these scruffy-haired Englishmen, you know, barging over and trying to monopolise their radio waves. But I didn't know any of I didn't know anything about his wife and his child and how young he was when that came into his life. I didn't know anything about his his sort of mental state and how he struggled with that. Bouts of depression and sort of manic behaviour and the nervous breakdown after America. I didn't know about any of that, so that was fascinating to sort of get my claws into as an actor, really.
Definitely. It's a strong ensemble piece. How do you and the rest? How do you get on with the rest of the cast?
It's the most lovely company. Everyone is great. I don't get to see many of them because I'm on stage all the time, so I feel like I miss out on a lot of the sort of backstage fun. But I share a dressing with Oliver Hoare, who plays Dave Davis, who feels brotherly to me, you know, in a way that no one else ever has. He feels like he could be he's actually older than me, but he's my younger brother, so he's my younger brother to me. And we get on great, and we all get on brilliantly. And Megan, who plays Raza, we're all very close, and the girls, everyone, it's great.
Good. I mean, the 50s and 60s, those decades, do they sort of entice you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, growing up, I was a sort of strange kid who only listened to stuff from the 60s. I was obsessed with Bob Dylan and the Beatles and Stones, the Kinks and the Animals and all that. That was what excited me as a young man. And as a songwriter myself, that's the stuff that influenced me. And then even people always make fun of me because they say what I wear could be in the show.
Exactly.
60s look. So the 60s has always been a real interest of mine. I've read a lot about it, and I know a lot about the period actually, just through sort of geeky wanting to watch documentaries mainly about Dylan. But it's a dream job in that respect as well, because it's my sort of the decade that I'm most interested by.
Absolutely, and you mentioned there about being a songwriter. You know, what was your musical experience prior to this? Being in bands, etc.
No, I've always played on my own. I think when you're an actor, you can't really. It's hard to get a bunch of other people to commit because it's so often you'll have to say, "Oh no, we have to cancel this gig because I'm going up to Yorkshire to do an episode of Vera," whatever. And so I'm a solo act, and I've been writing and playing for about 10 years now, just gigging around London as often as I can, doing a bit of recording. I'd like to get an album done, hopefully by the end of this year.
Really? How would you describe your repertoire, as it were?
I'm never very good at this. I usually let other people sort of define what it is. I suppose other people tell me that it's sort of folky, lyric-driven, acoustic, sort of, occasionally a bit bluesy. I mean, my influences come from the 60s really, the Stones, Beatles, Dylan, and I love Laura Marling, Jack White, these sort of people get me excited. Great
stuff. And you've done sort of theatre, film, TV roles. What have been your particular highlights so far?
On camera, I did an episode of Doctor Who. That was my first acting job professionally. That was really exciting. I got to work with Michael Gambon and Matt Smith, and it was just a whirlwind, this huge, high-profile job, and I was only a week out of drama school, so that always rides heavy in my memories. I did a play last year called The Dead Dogs, which was a sort of weird Nordic drama that I loved. It was weird and strange, and I played this fascinating character, this sort of psychopathic Norwegian kid who ends up killing people. It was just a really fascinating role, and kind of made me realise about what theatre can do. And I love Simon Usher, who directed that. It's one of my favourite directors, and I had a really good time on that job. But I've been very lucky. I've done a real wide variety of things, and some have been better than others, but I've learnt a lot through all of them. And
what draws you more, film, theatre, TV work?
Well, I wanted to be a theatre actor when I was growing up. That was always what I wanted to do, but my career has largely been on camera so far. This is only my third theatre thing I've done in 6 years since leaving drama school. But I've fallen in love with camera work. It's a completely different discipline and a different craft. It feels like a different job sometimes, and it's great. I'd like to do more of it. It's really difficult because it's all about what's going on the inside, and you've got to trust that just thinking certain things is going to come across. Whereas on stage, you've got to project those in your body, and you've got to make people at the 200 metres away sometimes understand what you're doing.
Yeah, but this is a great theatre as well, Harold Plimson.
It's beautiful, it's a lovely theatre. It's quite intimate, actually.
It is, yeah.
But very long and high.
It's quite big, but small at the same time.
Yeah, it goes up a long way.
Yeah, from up here, looking down, it's a big drop.
It is.
And, what other projects do you have personally in the pipeline then? Anything you can tell us about?
A lot of sort of loose ends, ideas. Basically, this is my life for the foreseeable future, you know. So I can't really think beyond this yet. But there's the album that I want to be making. I've got some studio time coming up in a couple of months where I want to put some more tracks down. I'd like to start gigging if I can. It would be late night gigs with a tired voice after doing the show, but I'd like to be doing more gigging. And as far as acting goes, I've just sort of, for the first time in the last 6 years, just not had to worry about it for a while, because this is a good steady job that I'm enjoying. Towards the end of the run, I'll start looking for new projects, but at the moment I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, there's still a while to go. Well, thanks a lot for your time. It's been great.
My pleasure.
If you had to choose 3 favourite Kinks songs for yourself, what would you choose?
Do they have to be from the show?
No.
Good. I like the ones from the show are great. I mean, Waterloo Sunset has to be up there. It's one of the greatest songs ever written. Yeah. There's a song called Wonder Boy by the Kinks that meant a lot to me growing up. It's a song about, I suppose, trying to find your place in the world, and it's a lovely lyric and a really nice tune. I love that song. And it's hard, isn't it? There's quite a lot, and I suppose it's going to have to be Lola, I suppose. It's just a cracking rock anthem that I've never ever not enjoyed singing as many times as I've done it here.
Fantastic. It sounds great on the stage. Long may it last. Anything else you'd like to say to Theatre News and Music News watchers?
Hello. Come along and watch Sunny Afternoon if you want a right good laugh. Learn a little bit about the Kinks.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Man.
Thanks.
Cheers.